Hmm. Beginning with me. The dream that Elvis was singing about was at a time when, well, the world seemed a little different than it does today, although not as much as we would really think. And so as we come into this season, for me, it's so important for us to continue that dream, to continue to believe in the possibility of peace, the possibility of coming together in respect and kindness, to move forward in harmony, to begin to live in that place of love. And that happens individually and then collectively. So we begin our journey of waking up. For me, that's what it's all about. It is, am I awake or am I asleep? Because when we wake up and we begin to view the world from a deep spiritual place, we begin to see the possibility of a realized dream. It's not flighty thinking. It is not impossible. It is something that can happen not one day, but now. And it happens individually. And that's where it has to get its start. And I know sometimes we can take a look around and go, oh, it just seems like it will never happen or it's too big. But the reality is that it happens through the conscious awareness of each individual participating in a bigger idea. And that's what we're being called to find our voice, to find our path, and to live a truly authentic life that allows us then to receive and be with the authenticity of others. I was watching the first episode of a Netflix series called, I think it's called Wild West or something. And it's about a group from India moving into small town America and how that was received. But the message of the guru is so powerful and so poignant because it's about everybody, that there is no separation, religion, countries, nationalities, skin colors, religion, like all of that needs to be set aside so that we can come together in a spirit of oneness where we start to acknowledge humanity rather than Canadians or Americans or Africans or Asians, but to sit back and go, all of us actually are the same at the core. We're all part of this one infinite, beautiful universe, this intelligence that permeates everything. The stories we've been told, the ways we've been living, the challenges that we've faced have been about separation. It's been about greed. It's been about fear. And it's time for us to really awaken within ourselves to our true potential and to our true authentic voice. As we find ourselves, that's when we're able to walk in a place of peace and acceptance of others. When we are fearful, when we are, angry, or if we've been taught to think somebody else is bad and wrong, if we're living in competition all the time, we lose the great gift of collaboration. We lose the great gift of discovery. I love conversation, and curiosity really pushes that forward. I want to know things because even in all of these years of my life, I do not know it all. Who knew? Who knew? When I was a teenager, just like my teenagers, I know everything and parents know nothing. But the truth is that the older I get, the more I realize I don't know what I don't know. And so the idea of learning, of discovering, of expanding my understanding becomes more important today than it ever has. And so as I keep journeying along, discovering new ways of being, discovering new ideas, listening to people who I do not understand. I do not understand some of the changes in our world today. And I'm not going to if I just close it off and go, oh, well, you're wrong and I'm right. My way is the right way. Well, my way might be right for me. That doesn't mean it is right for you. And one of the things I used to say years ago quite often is, don't believe what I say. Don't believe it. Just because I say it, don't believe it. Believe it when you've practiced it, when you've applied it in your life and you see results from it. Now it's yours. It's your belief to live, to expand, to grow. But if you have questions, if you have doubts, yay, we should have those. We should always have those. I have had moments where I'm like, is any of this real? Does any of this actually matter? And then coming back to that place of deep surrender into the presence and power of the divine, knowing that my path forward is one of deep communion with God, spirit, universe, divine, beloved, whatever you want to call it. There's a relationship there. There's a relationship that happens by our attention to it. And when I think back to the epiphany moment I had, well, coming up 40 years ago, that moment was an awakening. It's like I walked into that church, I was sound asleep, but when I left, I woke up and it was like I saw the world with a new set of eyes, with a brand new perception and brand new perspective. It happened instantaneously in that moment. And the journey since then has been day to day to day to remind myself of what I believe to be the truth about God, about the universe, about what is happening in and around us, to begin to change the ideas of blame and shame, to shift our perspective from right and wrong to, well, this and that, beginning to see the world from a new vantage point, because some of the things that I think are wrong, somebody else thinks is right. And what I know is that God is not a judge. We are all loved, that the energy of the universe is intelligent and it's loving. And so we live in that place of possibility and potential if we choose. And because we've been given free will, we can use this energy in any way we like. We can do the most ugly, horrible things to each other. Or we can choose to be kind and respectful and loving and accepting of each other. We can choose to gossip or to praise. We can choose to live the consciousness of what we would call the Christ consciousness, or that divine inner presence, the beloved. We can live from that understanding or not. See, we get to choose to be asleep or be awake. We can choose to be awake. And if we choose that, we're more connected to what's really happening within us, what our real beliefs and thoughts and attitudes really are. And as we shift those, we can begin to see a world that is more expansive, a world that is more connected, a world that is more alive with potential, with possibility, with love. The world that we live in is created by us. That's it. That's the reality. We created our current world. And if there's anything about it that we're not comfortable with, or that we don't like, or we don't love, we have the potential, the possibility, the ability to create a new reality. And how do we do that? Begins right in here. I have to come to terms with my life, my journey, who I am. And one of the great questions we can ask ourselves is, who am I? Because sometimes we think, well, I'm the wife of so-and-so, or I'm the minister, or I'm this body, I'm this type of health. We've got all of these things. I'm a mother, I'm a business person. We have all of these identities, but the truth is, I am the I am. one with the infinite intelligence of the universe. When we let go of the physicality, the career, all of these things that we think we are, and instead return to the very essence of our being, we start to realize what our potential actually is and what is possible in our world. When Elvis Presley sang that song, he sang it as a political cry. Now, this was back in, I think, the 50s. That was a long time ago. And what he spoke about in that song was an act of rebellion because of what he was seeing around him in the world. And when I look around the world today, I'm not seeing a lot of changes. I'm still seeing a lot of those ideas of separation and a fear of each other. And as I watch the news, I'm seeing stories. I try to not watch it, but occasionally it enters my awareness. And I see the struggle going on. They're right. No, they're right. This is bad. This is wrong. This is right. This is good. When we look at any of these terms, they actually have different meaning for different people. It's time for us to really awaken to our own true identity. I am a child of the universe, perfect, whole, and complete. Nothing to be fixed, altered, or changed. I am created absolutely perfectly. And this is a new day. And on this new day, am I willing to let go of what I've been trained to believe, what I've been conditioned to expect, and instead create within myself a divine relationship with the one? And then from there, to move from inspiration to create and to collaborate and to love, not just those closest to me, but love, which for me means unity, oneness. And if we're coming from that place of oneness, we act with respect. We may not understand another person or their motivations for what they do or how they do it, but there's a part of us that goes, okay, my experience is different, but their experience still has validity. Their journey is theirs, it's personal. My journey is mine and it's personal. And although we do things differently, I do not have the right to judge another person. And I really should give up judging myself as well. We have many choices to make. I was listening to our board president talk about his experience filming a TV series, pardon me, filming a TV series in BC that has a cast of many Indigenous people, and they're upset at the land acknowledgement. And that really spoke to me. We've been doing the land acknowledgement for quite a while. What are we doing besides reading those words or reciting those words or thinking about those words? What are we actually doing? And this was the thing that Rico mentioned, is that, that they were talking about lots of people are saying these words, but they're not seeing the action of reconciliation. They're not seeing steps forward that would actually change everything that's happened and begin to create a greater sense of community, connection, healing. I don't know what the answers are. I really don't. I don't know that anyone in this room does. But whatever insights we have, as we share them with each other, as we come to a place of a willingness to listen to another person's story, we start to see how their life has been impacted by some of the decisions that we make. Maybe our decisions need to come from a deeper place rather than simply economics or simply from our history, to come to a place of real openness, of real connection, where the dream that we have of peace is no longer a flighty idea that can never be realized, but is rather an intention for the way I walk in this world at this time. May I walk in an energy of love. May I walk in an energy of respect. May I walk with a willingness to see and experience the person in front of me. May I walk with curiosity. May I walk with imagination, with vision. The journey that we're on is deeply personal. And as we begin to really create a connection, a deep, deep connection with this divine energy of life, we are then empowered with incredible wisdom, with vision and insight for forward motion. And I don't know what that looks like, because this is a new day. And on this day, I get to decide, am I in? Am I finished talking about reconciliation or peace or collaboration? Am I finished talking about it and willing to put my feet to the ground and begin to step in a new way? It's personal, and it's bigger than each one of us, but it begins with me. May I walk in beauty. Let us go into a meditation as we begin to take these ideas in at a deep level and create a real feeling of oneness. So I invite you to take a breath. And as you allow that breath to move into your body, as you allow that oxygen to fuel the cellular growth of your being, as you allow it to calm your mind and your heart, I invite you to drop your awareness from your mind to your heart. And in this heart space, to imagine a big ball of golden light right at the core of your chest, a vibrant, glowing, beautiful light. Imagine that light moving through your entire physical form, lighting up every cell. Becoming a beacon so bright that the light that is emanating from each one of us is an energy of love that lifts and expands and awakens each person. So I invite you to take that beautiful golden energy, and now that your body is completely full, to shine it out into the room that you're in, and take it beyond those walls to the exterior of your home, to your street that you live on. the city that is your home, the country in which you live, the continent on which you reside. And now taking that golden light and imagine it wrapping around the entire planet, touching hearts and minds. A transformative energy that awakens the depth of being for each person to live in a place of possibility. And beyond this planet, just taking that energy and expanding it out into the cosmos. As this energy grows and expands, allowing yourself to feel what it means to be this light. And I invite you to take a breath, to know that that divine light is always, always within you, always who and what you are. To call it by its real name of love or oneness. And taking a deep breath in, really anchoring your consciousness into that idea of the beauty of life. Acknowledging that how I walk in the world matters. And who I am is the right person for the job. May I walk in love. May I walk in peace. May I walk in joy. May I walk in beauty.